Brooklyn Independent Television.
What's it like to devote your working hours to mixing tracks, writing levels, and helping to manage the creative impulses, not to mention the emotions, of a band? The goal is to turn it all into music you might actually want to listen to. Sector B's Sherry Carabin spent a day with a recording engineer.
I am the owner and one of the engineers at the Brewery Recording Studio in Brooklyn, New York. It's me and one other guy, me and this producer guy who I've known. His name is Dr. Genius. He actually also received the Grammy nomination last year. Me and him have been working together since 2008. And before that, we actually had separate studios, and we kind of just merged together to start like a bigger company. Jr Rivera is one of the most recorded tres guitarists in the world. He's recorded with J-Lo, Mark Anthony, pretty much name any Latin artist. He's done work with them, and he's a great guitarist. And we're kind of working on his solo project with all these other musicians. But it's kind of trying to showcase him as a guitarist. The producer he has with him is also his keyboard player, and they're kind of going over the arrangement of this one song that we started working on last week. We laid down some percussion last week and some keyboard, just some general direction for the song. But now it's time to kind of figure out, all right, where do we take it from here? Because we only have about half the song arranged now. So, and these Latin songs, they're definitely a little longer than like pop songs are. So you're working with like 6-7 minute pieces. The studio started kind of as like an offshoot of what I was doing. I was 18. I just finished high school. I kind of decided, okay, I want to get into music, kind of on a more practical side where I know I could kind of make money in more of like a stable way. Every 2 bars it comes in, because there's like a long one. Chorus, right? It's like. So I figured, all right, I played in a band for 5 years before that. I was kind of into the whole music scene already. So, and I knew some people, and one of my friends in Queens, he actually, his like uncle or something, owned a recording studio called Multi-Sound Studios. I decided to check that place out, and I was 17 when I started interning there. From there, I hopped around to some other studios, and time for college came, and I decided I wanted to go into audio. Like become an audio engineer. I got really into the whole studio environment. I loved being around musicians, around the whole process. Should we take a look at the other ones and I guess figure out the problems, or do you want to dig deeper into this one first?
Let's one down.
I think there was still something shady at the beginning.
In a sense, you have to run a recording studio kind of like any other like hospitality industry, like a restaurant or a hotel, where it's like people walk in and everything has to be clean and neat and presentable, and everything has to be almost look like everything was touched up just for you to get there. You have to present a welcoming vibe for the client. Otherwise, if there's no environment that motivates the client, you kind of almost lose an aspect of what you could be doing. If the vibe is right, you'll get a better performance, basically. So that's what you try to create. Our biggest genres are, I guess, rock, pop, and hip hop. We get the major labels who come from Manhattan, sending over their artists, guys who you'll read magazines about, guys who are selling top things on Billboard. Then we'll also get the mid-budget guys who, whether it comes from independent labels or whether it comes from smaller independent acts. And then you also have the lower budget guys who are trying to climb their way up, so they're kind of just getting themselves into situations where, first of all, they could probably network better. I work 7 days a week whenever clients book in. Sometimes it's 4 days a week, sometimes it's 7 days a week for 80 hours a week. You know what I mean? You really have to adapt. My longest single session, I think, was about 18 hours. It was like, we started at 12 in the morning, and we definitely went late into the next morning. You have to know that sleep is never guaranteed, and you're a phone call away from being in the studio an hour from now.
Watch this and other Brooklyn Independent Television episodes online at breakartsmedia.org/BIT.